Today's mini sermon. Yesterday, I was teaching, or not teaching. I was facilitating a storytelling experience for my son's one of the groups that he's a part of, and I dressed as a wizard. And one of the pieces that we opened the entire experience with was to open the door and invite the story in, because the story needs to be invited in, just like I'm a strong believer in the muse, or the creative spirit that is connected to every single project. And I'm sure all of you resonate with that as well. And something that can be easy to forget when we're bogged down with just the day-to-day operations and life and stress and figuring all the things out um, is that clarity can come so simply by simply inviting the energy and the spirit of the project that you're intending to work on. And when I have found, I mean, I'm 20 years of full time doing this thing, that like when I take time to go commune with the creative spirit of a project, when I go for a nice long walk with the intention to connect with that spirit, with my journal, with an open ended conversation, and with questions on the top of my mind, it's just amazing what happens. And so that was the second piece of the storytelling experience I led yesterday, was around how all great stories start with a question. And I think all great projects can also start with a question as well. So as you're starting to build these different pieces, creating content, creating your workshops, signature workshops, etc., just remember to always be in the question with the spirit of the project that you're working on, because that muse is always waiting to be communicating to us, to be talking to us, it wants to be a part of the things that we're doing. It wants to be guiding our next steps forward. And one thing that I've found over the years is that when I haven't taken the action on the previous insights that the muse offered up to me, the next steps don't come. It's like we can only see as far as the horizon, so we have to just keep taking steps, and the horizon keeps expanding. It's like once we take 3 steps, 3 new steps are given to us, but until we've taken those 3 steps, we just don't know. And that's a part of like the trust that is required when we're doing this creative path, and when we're walking our entrepreneurial path, is like we have to take the steps that we know we have to take, and then more steps will be given to us. There's never a standstill on this journey where it's like, I don't know what to do next. There's always something that we know we could and should do next. And this was one of the big lessons over the last 3 years with Magic Kids, is like we had no idea how to build a publishing company, how to do books, how to like make audio stories a reality. We had no idea how to do licensing and royalties, and to do all the pieces that we've done. But like each step along the way of understanding the vision and communing with that creative spirit of this project and what wanted to be birthed through, we didn't know how to build an app, we didn't know how to do anything. I hadn't raised a lot of investment capital in the past, and so these were all skill sets that I figured out along the way, or that my team and I figured out along the way. And it was literally like we were never overwhelmed with too many things that we had to figure out. It was always just like, figure out the next step, take your next steps, just like keep going. And then this, like the spirit of this project is like become this incredible entire ecosystem that we've designed, that we didn't know what we were doing almost every step of the way, and there's still pieces that we're like, we know what we want to do, but we don't know how to do it. But we keep taking the steps forward and figuring it out as we go. And that is like the path that we're all on right now. And that's also the path that we're here to guide others through. We all have our experience, and we all have our wisdom, and the things that we're here to share and show up to do. And we get to be that muse for others. We get to support and guide with the things that we know for certain inside of ourselves, that we're able to facilitate and guide for others while we're figuring out our own stuff. It's this incredible journey of like everybody's just kind of figuring it out, and we all can lend out our hand and do it. And the most important thing, and the moral of this story, is to take time and space on the day-to-day basis if you can. Fortunately, I have a dog, so I got to go for at least 2 walks a day to commune with that muse, and to be more inviting. Invite it to play a bigger role. Invite it to communicate with you in ways that you can see, feel, and understand, and know and hear. Invite it to play a bigger role in the decisions that you have to make. Talk with it. I find talking to it out loud is one of the most important things. I look like a crazy person when I go for walks, but it works. And so I say all of this knowing that you already know all of this, knowing that you probably already do all this. And I would just say, let's all double down and commune with that muse now more than ever, because it is just like it's waiting all the time. And when we're consuming, like I find when I go through periods of like just enjoying YouTube videos, I'm blocking out the muse. Then all the noise of other people's stuff coming into my filters is blocking out my own connection with that muse, with that creative spirit for the things that I'm here to bring. And so trying to be more in journal mode at nighttime than consumption mode, so that I can be the creator that I want to be instead of the consumer that I don't really want to be and that I'm not as satisfied being. So just watch our consumption, watch what we're doing in the evenings, because that there's a beautiful time when we're in the spaciousness, when we're not doing the activities, that those little seeds can be planted and those sprouts can grow and we get to hear that voice. And that has been a beautiful practice. And I hope this resonates with all of you. And does anybody want to share anything with your relationship to the muse? Is there anything that you do to stoke the magical fire?
Mine's having a hot bath.
Nice.
That's where all my insights drop in, most of them.
Beautiful.
I'm like, I still dripping. Got it.
I figured it out.
Yeah, I never really called it the muse as such, but it brings to mind what Liz Gilbert says in her book Big Magic. You know, it's this ideas that are floating around waiting to be born, and to let them come through us. So yeah, I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah. And I've been doing this a long time, and I've seen so many people that come to this space, or the ways that it's grown over the years and the various programs, and so many people are just afraid to trust what they're hearing and to take the actions forward all the way to the finish line, because they can't see the whole path ahead. And every single project I've ever started, you never see the whole path, but you see enough of it to know the direction you're supposed to be going. It's so cool the way the right questions just are like keys in a lock, and they just open doorways, and you ask another and there it is. And it's just like, it's all right here. If we just presence ourselves and we find space to ask those questions and like what's ready to come out. Isn't it amazing that we get these downloads from time to time and they feel really alive, and then for whatever reason we don't take action on them, and then we see somebody do the exact same thing that we were imagining, and it's like these seeds are sprinkled about, but only some of those harvests grow, because only some of those people are able to or ready to tend to those crops to bring them to life. And then we have to wait for that next one to come and feed us that energy. And there's something that happens every single time we follow all the way through to the finish line, whether it becomes a prosperous investment of our time and energy financially or not. We get these growth points, we get this like extra oomph of confidence every single time we complete the next thing that we had a vision about. And it just like, it strengthens that relationship, it strengthens that trust in the process and ourselves and the path that we can see when we start these projects or get these ideas. It's just amazing. So way to go. All of you are saying yes and following the path, which is a beautiful thing.